Hello and welcome to Naughty Clicker News, the show where I look back at some of the gaming and pop culture happenings of the week that was. But before I do, I want to give a big shout out to all my wonderful patrons who keep this one-woman show up running and, well, as sane as I ever get. Many thanks to you if you would like to join them. Links below. So let's jump into it with PAX East 2020, because although Sony and Facebook have both dropped out of the event, citing COVID-19, Square Enix is still heading to Boston, Massachusetts on the 27th. Now, Square Enix's games featured at the show will primarily be the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is awesome, the Final Fantasy XIV Online, which is also awesome, and I play quite a lot, Outriders. And to add to the hype, well, there are murmurings that attendees will get to jump into a version of Final Fantasy VII, the remake. So, ooh, the hype is real. I am kind of envious of you guys who get to go. Now, if you are planning to attend and you are a little bit worried about everything that's going on, I have put a link below to the World Health Organization in the description so you can read up firsthand their findings and recommendations. But here's a bit of good practice to avoid unwanted microscopic hitchhikers in general, and specifically in this case, the inconvenience of the most likely thing you'll catch at PAX, convention flu. So, number one, no handshaking. This is one time when a little bit of cultural appropriation could help, so bow out your greetings to show your enthusiasm without having to press the dreaded flesh. Also, on flesh pressing, no kissing. Nah, I'm a European. Europeans do kiss cheeky. No, kiss cheeky. No. Veto on exchanging spit. Not a good idea. Okay, onto your hands. Gloves can be great, but regardless of whatever hand protection you are putting on, what you need to do is not touch your face. Germs can survive for periods, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, on surfaces, door handles, banisters, all the things that you'll be touching at a convention, and merchandise. So be mindful, don't touch your face, don't pick your nose, none of those things, okay? Now, if you're heading to PAX and you are generally unwell, you have a tummy bug and the like, well, I mean, you could stay at home, but if you are trying to keep the infection to yourself, a medical mask is actually not a bad idea. Now, medical masks are not good at keeping infection out, unless you're, of course, going full, military hazmat suit. But I think that if you showed up to the convention in one of those, you might cause a riot, so don't do that. But a medical mask can help you to not spread your yummy bugs to other people, so bear that in mind. And of course, the last thing is wash your hands regularly, and I do mean soap and water, because hand sanitizers do not offer the protection against the evil microbes that they claim to. In fact, a couple of them got their wrists slapped recently by the US government for making claims that they couldn't substantiate, so bear that in mind. Now, to anyone who finds themselves affected by COVID-19 and this terrible outbreak, sending you my love and thoughts. Please stay safe. We are thinking of you at this difficult time. Now, to lift our spirits in these difficult days, let's indulge in some Bayonetta news, because she is one leggy which sure to put a smile on any gamer's face, because it's been confirmed that Bayonetta 3's creation is in full swing. Announced back in December 2017 as an exclusive Switch title, Platinum Games director HIDEKI KAMIYA, apologies for butchering your name, recently assured fans in an interview with Famitsu that the much-loved franchise was in safe hands, but sadly fell short of announcing a release date. Onto a company who, rather than going out of their way to assure fans, seems to enjoy treating them like some sort of loot pinata. Yes, you guessed it, Activision. Last week, the gaffe-prone corporation pulled all its titles from Nvidia GeForce Now. Now, if you are not aware, Nvidia GeForce Now is a cloud-based game streaming service delivering real-time gameplay straight from the cloud to your, say, laptop, desktop, Mac, Shield, TV, or Android device. You simply connect to your store accounts and stream your own library of games and or play their library of free-to-play games. It's great for gamers with PCs on the potato end of the spectrum, or if you are a very busy bee and often find yourself away from your desktop. Now, the service is free in its limited capacity and $5 a month unlimited service. But you do need to have access to a stable and a fairly girthy internet connection. So why did Activision jump ship at launch? You guessed it. It's the money, Lebowski. Yeah, of course it is. Now, Activision signed up with Google to the tune of $160 million, a contract for all their game streaming needs, all of their tournaments. So, what does Google own? Ooh, let me think. Stadia. I think you can see why I am speculating towards that conclusion, but honestly, it's cringeworthy because in the beta of Nvidia GeForce Now, all Activision titles were present, only to be stripped from the service as it went live. So any player foolish enough to be simply playing one of their own games on this service, which seemingly had been supported in the beta but which was removed without warning as the game went live, well, these players received, for their hubris of playing their own game, a ban. Yeah, I kid you not. Customer service at its finest. I'm just gonna... Well done, guys. Well done. Onwards, anyway, to some brighter news, because on the 27th of February, Japan, the nation, will be officially celebrating Pokémon Day because, you know, that's a thing, and they're celebrating it this year in honor of Pokémon Red and Green, which released in Japan 24 years ago. Wow, that's long-running title. Now, there will be special max raid battles in Pokemon Sword and Shield, new legendary pocket monsters in Pokemon Go, and a host of other goodies for players to pick up over the period. So if you have not jumped into Sword, Shield, or Go in a while, the time is now. The time is now. Onto Baldurs Gate. If you are a fan of Baldurs Gate, the newest incarnation of the franchise is going into early access later this year. Yes, Baldurs Gate 3 in early access this year. In fact, Hasbro has announced it will be releasing one Dungeons and Dragons based game a year until 2025. Holy shirt balls. And they are in development of a very hush sci-fi title too. Yes, Wizards of the Coast have opened a new studio, Archetype Entertainment, for their science fiction outing, and the news is that the lion's share of the staff at that new operation are BioWare Austin veterans. So this has me, for one, extremely hopeful. Let me know what D&D titles you would like to see the studio release in the comments below. Oh, speculation time down there. Now let's close off with some small screen news, and I'm actually going to say it, possibly a win for Activision Blizzard, because it seems that a Netflix animated series is in store for Overwatch, as well as an anime-style Diablo series too. This is great because fans of Blizzard's wondrous animated cinematic offerings have long called for dedicated series to showcase the brilliant lore and worlds of all these franchises, and it looks like Blizzard are finally listening to their fan base. Hooray! Seems we do know what we want, doesn't it? Anyway, but here is my question. Will the Warcraft universe be joining its cousins? Because at the moment there's no word, and after the lukewarm reception garnered by the big screen version of WoW, it could be a hard sell to the financial people. But, you know, I always live in hope. I mean, honestly, there are so many wonderful game stories I would love to see serialized. Final Fantasy XIV, Dark Souls, Hellblade, to mention but a few. That said, however, there have been some very notable car crash game movies of late, so maybe I should be careful what I wish for. What games do you think would really translate well into a series? I think a movie, there's just too much to pack in there. I think that's where Warcraft fell over, trying to tell 17 different stories. The love actually bug. I think if they'd have focused down into one solid viewpoint, it would have gone over better. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So that's Naughty Clicker news for the week that was. There are links below for a deeper dive into all the stories I covered here today. Do let me know also what's caught your attention this week. And whilst you're down there, please do like this video if indeed you did like it. Share it if the spirit moves you. Subscribe and ring that bell if you think I've earned it and you don't want to miss any naughty clicks on the channel. And please do show some love to Cody, Kildare, Cub, Molini, Jolly Joe Star, Dark Griever, and all my wondrous, fantabulous Patreons, without whom there would be no Naughty Clicker anything. Thank you so very much, guys. If you'd like to join them, links to my Patreon below. Now, I hope you will come back and join me again very soon, but until then, as always, thank you so much for watching.